All right, everybody, let's go ahead and do a mic check. Can you hear and see me? Everything? Let's do that. Got to adjust my green screen behind me. There we go. How are you guys? Let's go. You can hear me? Yeah. Rips gave me a tip. I'm testing out a new image generator, and I'm going to use that to make some fun images, spice up my slow markets a little bit, add some more, what do we call it? Creativity? I don't know. Everyone can hear me okay? Yeah, there you are, Rips. Rips inspired me. I ended up paying $60 for an AI generator tool called Midjourney. So we'll see how it goes. Give me a moment while I get everything set up on my end. That was the first one I created, so we have a lot of work to do when it comes to getting slow markets like A grade type segment. Thank you, Skylar. So anyway, let's get started. So welcome to Slow Markets, everybody. As always, I'm Coach Dakota, Coach DBA. We're going to be talking about the live markets, as you can see behind me. There's our Topstep risk disclosure. As always, it's there for you guys because we're talking about the live markets. It's for educational purposes only. So that way, if you guys do something stupid, saying that it was, you're just following Coach Dakota, or Coach Dakota said to buy or sell, I'll never say buy and sell, right? We're all pulling we're all clicking we all have our own agency, and we click the button, and it's all over our own. Oh man, what a crazy Monday for me. I did take a loss yesterday or Sunday night going into as well as today. I took a loss. Oh well, it's spilt milk. But let's do this, guys. Let's do a rapid fire. A lot of traders, I got a lot of positive feedback. We do a rapid fire to go over the four markets to begin with. Then we'll go to some Q&As. If you have a question, feel free to type it in the chat. We have amazing moderators who will be feeding me the questions that I do miss it. And if I do, just copy and paste it in the chat. And I will tend to get it. So let's go through this real quick. I'll talk about the NASDAQ, then crude oil, then Nikkei, then gold. So I'll do it in that order. NASDAQ, crude oil, Nikkei, and gold. I'll go really fast. If I do see something good that I want to maybe take a trade, then I'll focus a little bit more on that. So really quick, first 5, 10, 15 minutes of slow markets, I'll do the rapid fire. We'll see if there's any opportunities, make sure I don't miss any, because it is slow markets, but sometimes even though it is slow markets, I could miss an opportunity. So as you could see now, I have the NASDAQ daily chart in front of me, and we kind of did get that little bit of a bounce. So you could see the last 2 days we had a little bit of a pullback, and now we're starting to break. It looks like we got to a new all-time high today. Technically, as of right now, and if we start to zoom in, we're technically inside of, oh come on, we're still inside of this candlestick. So we did peak out above it, and now we're right back into this kind of below, I don't know, 760s. So we haven't had a really strong and a very, very, clear, clean-cut breakout. We might see continued consolidation in this zone. I know there's a lot of, we have a lot of Fed speakers. Well, let's see what's on the books. A lot of freaking Fed speakers. Man, it's probably going to be a very annoying week. If I had to take a guess. We have some manufacturing, PMI. We have PMI on Thursday, consumer sentiment on Friday, but lots of Fed speakers. It's going to be it might be an ugly week, to be honest, guys. It depends on all this FOMC, all these speakers. If I had a directional bias, you guys are going to love this. If I have a directional bias, it's going to be long. We had lighter than expected inflation data last week. And then with this week, we have a lot of FOMC and we have a lot of members speaking. And so most likely, I'm going to guess that the speakers are going to speak on the most recent data, which is lighter than expected. And so maybe we have a lot more of a bullish sentiment, but that's probably the bullish side to me. Yeah, I'm always looking for reasons to be bullish, but it would make sense, right? But anything can happen in the market. We're still inside of this candlestick that when we first made the all-time highs, and typically when we make one all-time high, we like to see a lot more all-time highs. I wouldn't be surprised if we have more consolidation. We're still inside of today's range. We're actually below the 16th high as well. But if we start to zoom in, if we look at a 60-minute chart, and this is a 60-minute chart here on the NASDAQ, we can kind of see it, right? Where we had this huge rally up, we got this beautiful pullback, and we got this pullback right to where I think this was the news. This was some news, maybe. I'm not sure. But we got that nice pullback to support, and then right back up. We broke. We're holding right near these highs. I wouldn't be surprised if we come back and we can kind of consolidate. I would actually prefer it because I want to be looking for areas to buy the dip, right? So look at this. Beautiful buy the dip opportunity. My drawing skills are not that great. So buy the dip opportunity. I would love to have another one. Maybe we get back down towards 700. Maybe we, see somewhere in the 600s. I would love to be a buy the dip opportunity. And if we kind of zoom out a little bit more, man, this is such a strong trend, right? Very, very strong trend. I think it's more of the same. Looking to buy the dip is what I'm planning. Buy the dip, look for all-time highs. Very basic, very simple. And that's what I'm going to be looking for tonight and going into tomorrow. I don't want to buy it right now because I would much rather look for an opportunity like this, right? Have a nice little pullback and then buy it. Right now, we did get a little bit of a pullback, and that could have been an opportunity maybe this afternoon. So I'm going to wait for another one, whether it's tonight, maybe in the morning when I'm going to be on Fast Markets with Rips, and maybe we get MP to join us and we could have a 50 lot thrown into this buy the dip. That's our goal, Rips. If you're still listening, our goal is to get MP to buy the dip with 50 lots. Whether it's I don't know if it's just a one shot, like just one entry with 50. I would much rather him do like maybe 10, 10, 10, 10. We'll see how it goes. Rips 50 or nothing. I think MP would be easily. If there is anybody at Topstep, MP would be the one that we could convince to trade a higher size than what they have been trading in the house account. But definitely looking to be buying the dips. Just sitting at the highs, right? We broke all-time highs. All-time high was 18,790. And I'm going to look for a pullback. Very, very basic buy the dip mentality. Okay, let's look at crude oil. I'm now in July's contract. We had that rollover in July's contract. This is a 60-minute crude oil chart. And I'm kind of in the same thing. I'm in the same mentality. We did get this push and this test of $80 a barrel that I was looking for. I would not be opposed to looking for crude oil to run and maybe sell off. Look for that beautiful stop hunt, right? Maybe we have some stops piled up around 78.50s, maybe a little bit below that. So I would not be opposed to doing the same thing. Buying the dip here in crude oil. Remember last week we had Coach Robert on, and remember how we were talking about putting buy limits on a pullback? I think that would be a fair thing to say again in crude oil. And it's something that I'm considering. Maybe because we're still finishing over a rollover, I'll be less inclined. But the idea and the concept that I would be looking at is like maybe a buy limit somewhere in this zone, right? Maybe this is a nice little zone to put a few buy limits for a stop loss below. Man, I don't know. Like, as you imagine. So remember, if you missed Coach Robert, when we were talking about OCO orders, bracket orders, that's something similar that I'm seeing set up. I'm going to look for crude oil to have a nice little sell-off, run some stops, find liquidity, and then push up, maybe back up and test $80 a barrel again. But until then, we're kind of in the middle. I don't want to be a buyer. I don't want to seller. We're in the middle. Now let's look at Nikkei. Nikkei, we are selling off. We obviously, this is the open in range, and we are starting to sell off. If we zoom out, you can see on the overall perspective, it looks a lot more cleaner now, like, right? Look how clean of a break this is from this little consolidation flag. We just broke. It's been some crazy price action in the Nikkei. The Nikkei is the Japanese market. Look at this huge move. I think this was Sunday night. Rip sent me a Discord message. Hey, look at Nikkei. I was just getting home from the golf course, and I pull up on my computer, and look at that huge rally. And I have to be honest, this was part of why I took a loss yesterday. I was looking to, buy, and it didn't work out for me on the Nikkei. And then look at this weird move. This has to have been like some type of news event. It was right before the London Open. I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah, as of right now, we just had that breakdown. I wouldn't be too surprised if we head towards these lows, right? I wouldn't be surprised if we head toward these lows, but until then, I don't want to buy this, because we're exactly in the middle, right? We're selling off. We're headed towards this low, and then I also don't want to be a seller, right? Because look at this nice trend. Maybe I wait for us to come down into this little nice bullish trend line, and if we do make it down towards this, then maybe look to buy the dip. Until then, it's hands off. I missed this. If you were bearish, that could have been a nice little trade to take a short and take a push, because we're starting to sell off on the Nikkei. Last but not least, the market that I took my biggest loss on yesterday was freaking gold. Gold, I'm a little pissed off at gold right now because I did lose the most money yesterday on this one. It was the whole reason I lost last night. I was shorting gold. As you guys could imagine, where I lost on gold is I had two trades. I was looking to sell here, and I got stopped out at around, I think it was like 440s. Okay, so I shorted gold here, got stopped out. We consolidated a little bit more. I ended up shorting again, and then I had another stop loss above here, and then I got stopped out again, and I was done. I'll talk a little bit about trader emotions. I go through emotions just like you guys. A dollar is a dollar for me. It's really frustrating, and regardless of how many times I do it, regardless of how long you've traded for, when you lose money, it's very easy to get frustrated, especially when you wake up and see that gold sold all the way off down to pretty much 412, right? 24.12. So when you're shorting up in this zone and you just lose your butt off shorting based off these little nice bounces in gold, and then you wake up the next morning and see that the trade was just beautiful. If I would have, maybe had smaller size, maybe had a much looser stop loss, it would have played out. It's that very basic one that says right idea, bad timing. It's one of those that, and I see somebody in the chat. Yeah, I do say a couple weeks ago, money does. I don't want to say I don't care about money, because when we're trading, we follow our rules, and we cannot let that impact our trading. So when it comes to my trading, I don't really care whether I win or lose, but I definitely get emotional, especially on a trade like this. And this is a 60-minute gold chart. I'm a little bit biased again tonight, because this looks like it might be setting up. Do I dare say a short? I think I'm just going to be hands off of gold. I really want to be hands off because this is a bull trend, and I was looking for gold to come back down and retest this, right? So you can imagine me looking at the market last night. This is where I was at, and I was looking, this would make sense. If I'm going to short the market, I want to short it when we're extended. And if we zoom further out, look, we were right around the April highs. We were also like, okay, this makes sense. This seems like a decent risk reward. I could have my stop loss above here. And sure enough, it just wrecked me. And we never did we did get down. I'm very basic. Look, this was resistance. This was resistance. Resistance did become support. So that's fair to say. And so the question is going to be, are we going to bounce up and going to rally all the way up and continue to make highs? Maybe we go up and test. Maybe we see $2,500 in gold tonight. I'm not 100% sure. We're officially kind of in the middle of this range. I would like for it to pretty much do like crude oil and NASDAQ and the other markets where we're in a bullish trending market right now. I would much rather for gold to sell off and then buy the dip, right? Just like it's been for the past few weeks. Every single one of these nice little sell-offs has been great buy the dip opportunities. And look, very basic support and resistance, right? Where we have resistance becomes support. We have resistance, right? Resistance becomes support. And then here we go again. We have resistance. And I was looking for a sell-off for resistance to become support. So that was it. That's what I'm going to be looking for gold. So let's get to some questions, and we will go from there. I'll continue to go back between these markets and see if there's any opportunities that I could trade. Like I said, I'm a trader first, and I'll be looking for opportunities as I talk. Drigo, did I scale into that trade? This gold trade, not really. It was really just triggered in. I could talk a little bit more about it. Relive my loss from yesterday. So everybody knows. Let's talk about this gold trade, right? Let's see. Okay, yeah, let me answer this. Did I scale into this gold trade? We did have that rally. So what I was looking at was the hourly chart, right? We had this nice bullish candle over here on the hourly chart. And I was looking for a 3-bar reversal, and then that happened, right? So when I start to zoom in, this is a 5-minute chart now. And when we zoom into a 5-minute chart, this is what I was looking at, okay? So 5-minute chart, we had a nice little rally. We had this kind of pin bar or whatever, reversal. I ended up getting triggered. I think it was here. So I decided to take the reversal off this bar. I got triggered in short, and then I lost, right? So I waited, and then I did it again, right? I ended up, this was a little bit later at night. This is right around the London session. We rallied up. We started to show resistance again, and then I got triggered in short, right? I got triggered in short right about here on this 3-bar reversal around, I'd say 444. If I know, it was actually 443.5 is where I got triggered in. And sure enough, it did it to me again. We rallied up, broke above 50, and then we had that massive sell-off. So, and this happened while I was sleeping, unfortunately, at like 4 a.m. for me. Yeah. That was my short gold. Do I use MACD? No, I do not use any indicators. It doesn't mean I haven't used them. Trust me, I've used a lot of indicators. Whether is it good or bad? If it helps you, then I have nothing against it. Oh man, here is a good question. Here's 2 questions that I think we could go over, and this is very important. Is when does support become resistance? And everybody knows this question that gets asked. Can you explain your 3-bar reversal? Okay. Very simple and very straightforward. I'm going to explain it. I've explained it on a few of my sessions. So pay attention, everybody. 3-bar reversal. when we have a trend, when we have like a movement, a leg, a trend, a 3-bar reversal occurs when we have the highest candle, and then the bottom of this highest candle right here gets broken. Okay, so that is technically a 3-bar reversal. You could Google it. There's a lot of YouTube videos. There's a lot of places online that you could find it. And then opposite side, right? We have a nice sell-off, and then we finally have a apex, a reversal candle, a doji. Then a 3-bar reversal would be technically right there. So there's a lot of places online. You could find it. It's everywhere online. 3-bar reversal, 3-bar candlestick reversal. It's very simple, very basic, and I use it as something to just get triggered into the market or confirmation, right? Now, when does support become resistance? Change in structure, yeah, that's a good example. When does support become resistance? Okay. This happens everywhere, right? So this is a 5-minute chart on gold, and I could see another example right here. Look, this was acting, look, resistance. There's a lot of resistance in this zone. And we broke out of the zone. We sold off. And guess what? Now this zone is becoming support. Does that make sense? Is that clear enough? And it's never beautiful, right? It's never exact. Markets are ugly. It plays in zones. It's never, I don't want to say never. It's very rarely beautiful, right? So here's another example that I see. Watch. And I'll continue. And it doesn't matter the time frame. Look, there's resistance. Here's resistance. When we broke out of this resistance, guess what? Resistance. Oh, come on. Resistance became support. So there's a good example. That is good. All right, let me clear off some of these charts. Man, I like that rapid fire. It really is nice. Okay, I think we're good to go. I'm going to continue to bounce back and forth and see if there's any opportunities. I'm going to keep an eye on Nikkei because it looks like we're bouncing. It's like the NASDAQ today. It was holding the 730 level today. 27.7. Do you trade VWAP or EMA? So a lot of traders here, they do trade the VWAP. You hear Hogue and everybody. What's that saying that they say? All roads lead to VWAP, and they tend to really like it. I don't really look at it. I don't really look at exponential moving averages or moving averages, but I would tend to say a lot of decent traders use something like that to help them determine trend, or at least help them eliminate maybe counter trend trades and make sure they're aligned with which way the trend is moving. Tick chart versus Hikinashi. Of course I love tick charts. Not a great trading strategy for new traders. I'm not sure what you mean, a new trading strategy for great traders. New traders, and then in a moment, I think I'm gonna spend a little bit of time of talking about trading psychology, because I felt it yesterday. I had a couple questions, and there's definitely something to be said that trading psychology is the majority of trading. And maybe I should talk about it a little bit more because it really is that important. And I really do believe that trading psychology is just not, if anything, as important as risk management. I mean, essentially, I would say risk management and trading psychology goes hand to hand. Yeah, and you, Phoenix, right? I seen that you sent me a message. And trust me, guys, I don't reply to DMs. I will get your DMs and I might read your DMs, but I get so many messages in Discord. It'd be almost impossible for me to reply to everybody. So I might see them and then I might read them, but and everything you guys send me is very much appreciated. I love it. I really do what I do here at Topstep for you guys, and I always love positive or even negative feedback. You can't have positive feedback without negative feedback. And so I appreciate the negative feedback as much as I do the positive. So I will read DMs, but 99.9% I will not reply. So if you do have a burning question, asking it while I'm live during slow markets is the best way. I might catch it while I'm on fast markets, but that's it. Someone says, you made... Yeah, that's karma, right? Where you can make fun of someone being sick, and then that following week you're sick. I don't know what it is. This is the worst sickness I've ever had in terms of my voice and my vocals. But can you talk about lot size strategy? Man, there's so much to talk about. Let's talk about trading psychology for a minute, and then we'll go from there. So let's do it. Trading psychology. And I think a good place to start is showing you my losing day. And maybe my trading statistics would be a good example. Because I know you guys heard Mick, you guys hear MP talk about it a lot. If anything, I think number one thing for me from being a coach, from helping traders, is I don't have social media. I do not have social media. And I will tell you for a fact that not having social media has helped my trading psychology, where I'm not paying attention of what's going on. I'm not really following the drama of the industry. I find out from you guys in chat. Sometimes someone will send me a message of a link to a Twitter post. Sometimes I'll hear about it on TopstepTV, but I don't have social media, and that has been such a big benefit for myself. And I will say 100% that I love it. Not having social media, not needing to worry about it, not needing to feel pressured about posting something. So yeah, that's a big part of it. And Steve, I have thought about having my own YouTube channel, but that goes along the lines of doing social media, right? I would then feel obligated of needing to post, needing to reply to everybody on my YouTube, needing to post a video and edit videos and feel responsible for making sure I'm providing everything and editing. And then even if I'm not editing, I'm contracting it out and paying someone. Topstep, that I'm so grateful for, allows me to do this and does all of the heavy lifting for me. And in return, I get to help and do what I love. And that's helping you guys. So I will never say I will never start a YouTube channel, but I'm not inclined. And I've went through that thought process over the past 6 months, and I decided not to because it's just not worth my time. Even if you guys see everybody on YouTube and these YouTubers are making all this money posting YouTube content, I'm like, that's not really what I'm here to do, and it's not something that I enjoy doing. So I'm gonna stay away from social media. I'm gonna stay away from dealing with any of that crap. But I enjoy the conversations. I enjoy the conversations we have. I do enjoy the back and forth debates, right? Where we go back and forth about XFAs. We go back and forth about copy trading and all these fun topics. It's very important because the reason why I talk about them is exactly that, right? It's important for trading psychology. It's important because we have a lot of brand new traders who are just coming into this industry, and it could be very overwhelming to you when you're learning, oh, what company should I go with? What makes sense? How do you do this? How do you do that? Everyone's raving about copy trading. Is that the right thing to do? Should I do it this way? Should I do it that way? And a lot of us who's been here for a while, we understand, we get it, we know the pros and cons, but there's so many new traders who just get lost. And so these are very important things and subjects to talk about, which it might seem boring to many, but it's a very, very important in terms of helping traders from the very beginning, and hopefully save them, months, if not years of their time, so that way they don't get misguided or get lost down this rabbit hole and just say, screw it, this is all a fake fraud. It's not real. Everything I see is just, scams, and I quit, right? I'm no longer going to trade. And then they have a bad taste and they no longer do it. So that's why I do talk about the subject. And that's why I do believe that constructive criticism and very good debates is very important in all aspects. And at the end of the day, the people who win are the consumers, right? Whenever we're having these fun rants or conversations. And while I'm talking here, I'm actually going to get into a short gold. Let's hop into a short gold.
Order submitted. Order filled.
Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah, I seen this trade, so I'm gonna take this trade first. Mid conversation. Sorry guys. Trade first, talk later. You guys, yeah. Anyway, I can't be hesitant. Yeah, then that's part of it. We'll see how this goes. My stop loss is probably gonna be here. I'm actually gonna put my stop loss right now.
Order submitted.
Let's see if we could get a good trade going right here on gold. Let's see if we could continue the break. I'm not liking that little. I don't like how fast we bought that up. So let's see how it goes. I might cut this one a little short depending on how we act around here. Yeah, we'll see. I like that. I got a little bit better, but I don't like how we bounced off that. That's a little frustrating. Yeah, so what I'm looking for on gold is I was looking for a break, and sometimes when gold breaks, we get an immediate push, and then just a really quick. This is a quick trade. Talk through this. It was fast. We had rejection up here, right? Rejection, and immediate rejection. And as soon as we started to break down, you could see what I liked was when we broke down below this. A lot of times, I've started to see this on gold a little bit. We get a nice push down, and then we get a follow through. And I was looking for this as my target. So maybe 24, maybe this zone. Look, this is a big zone that if we do break, it'd be just a quick bam bam. Let's see. Like I said, this is not a overnight trade. This is more of a quick scalp. Scalp. I don't know. Is scalp the right word? Maybe scalp's not the right word. We'll watch it. See how it goes. This is as volatile as sometimes it gets for slow markets. This is a very quick trade. Let's go through this, and I'll show you a little bit of what I was looking for at the 60-minute chart as well. So here's a 60-minute chart, and if there's anything else, this is another thing, right, where maybe we do get a push and a little sell-off down here into these 20s. So I do like this trade. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I freaking getting hit by gold again. Well, this would be a couple hours. I mean, a swing trade to me is a trade that you hold for longer than a day. I'm not a really fast trader, to be honest. Let's watch it. Yeah, I was bearish gold yesterday, and I missed that move. Man, I sure as hope don't. I mean, lower highs, right? We'll see how this gold trade plays out. Well, I have two price targets. So two price targets. This is going to be my first one. And my second one is going to be these lows. I will be okay if I trim maybe, for example, 2 contracts in this zone, and then I hold 1 contract to see if we do push down here. That's my thought process based off this, and I'm fine risking this. This is a decent, 1-to-1, maybe a 2-to-1. Let's see how we get this break. Why do you not set a stop loss? A top loss or stop loss? It's about risk. Sure, you could argue that I could get stopped out more often here. If I have my stop loss here, I'd get stopped out less often, but my risk reward, and to me, if we do break above this, bullish trend, we do have a decent probability of breaking higher. Let's watch. If we were going to go, I think we're going to go. The more time we spend right here, the more time I would be willing to just close this. But my first take profit is going to be in this zone. I'm going to close out 2 contracts if we do get down here. And then the second one would be down here. I might leave 1 contract to run overnight if we do get a push down into these 20s. But right now it is not looking good. Or the opposite of what I just did is probably the bet. It was, hindsight, right? Yeah, buying on the bottom of this seems like it would have been a good. But I'm playing for a breakdown. Can you move the chart further left so you can see the recent candlestick? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Bottom of the range shorts. Can we consider this a momentum play? I don't think so. I wouldn't consider this a momentum. It's a technical play. Yeah, if it was going to go, maybe, yeah, let's see. Like I said, I have a defined risk. Let's see how it plays out. That was, oof. What's Nikkei doing? Nikkei's selling off a little bit. Not much is really happening. Let's get to some more questions. What's my take profit? This one, I'll probably be risking about, well, you could do the math. I'm okay with, I might move my stop loss a little bit tighter and close out of 1 trade before we even get to my stop loss. There's nothing wrong with closing out a trade before you get to your stop loss. Yeah, okay. Anyway, back to trading psychology. So let's watch this trade play out while I talk more about trading psychology. So where was I at, guys? Remind me where I was at about trading psychology. What was I talking about for trading psychology? If anybody remembers, showing my losses. Well, let's from today. Okay, here is this. So here is my live account. Trading psychology. Here is a great example of sometimes how difficult these big losses. Here's my loss from today. 9,200. So, and yeah, this sometimes absolutely sucks, especially when it comes to starting out a week, right? Because essentially I'm starting the week in a big hole, and the rest of the week you kind of have like that urge, like, okay, I need to make up this 9,000. I need to make up this 9,000. I need to make up this 9,000 in a thought process. And it's very easy to do, to allow the rest of your week to be screwed up, and it could change the way you trade. It could change the way that you're going about your trading, and you're viewing your markets. You're maybe looking at it with a makeup and a revengeful, and that's very hard to do. And sometimes I still regardless of how long you've been trading, it's a difficult thing. Part of me is like, okay, you know what? My goal for this week is to just get to break even. And sometimes that is even a hard thing to even put. And I wouldn't even say a goal for me is to get back to break even. For me, the goal is to trade exactly the way I do, regardless of my P&L. And you can see, same thing here. May 15th, I took a $9,400 loss. The very next day, I happened to come back and get it, come back 12,000. And it's really about perspective, right? How big are your losing days? How big are your winning days? And we have to keep it in perspective. So for me, the way I look at this and the way I view this is one daily loss limit. I typically make this up in a day or two. It's no big deal. If I have a good trading day or if I have a good trading week, this is nothing more than just one trading day. So yeah, it sucks, man. These really do suck. But that's what it is. I'm starting this week off minus $9,000. And Andre's in the chat. Welcome, Andre. In your pajamas? Coach, does it worth to set a limit DLL? 100%. A daily loss limit is so amazing. It really is. And even if you don't have one in your personal account, I would recommend putting one. It doesn't have to be 3,000. It doesn't have to be Topstep's daily loss limit. You could put your own daily loss limit all the time. Carva, do you have a trading journal? Ooh, good call out. Trading journal is an amazing thing to do. I actually have a link that I was going to share, and I was going to mention this. TV emotional trading journal. I will recommend all the time having a trading journal. And as you trade, whether you have a individual trade or a bad day or whatever it is, I will always recommend write it down. Write it down, because after a month, after a week, or after a period of time and you're reviewing your trading and you're reviewing your statistics, it's very, very beneficial to go through them and say, look, I just lost $9,000 on that day. How was I feeling? What was I doing? Was I doing something different? Do I need to change what I'm doing? And maybe, and I've noticed this sometimes for me, maybe you notice a pattern, like all of your days that you've hit your daily loss limit, maybe they have something in common. Maybe you forgot to eat breakfast. Maybe you didn't sleep good. Maybe you were trading a different time of day. And now everything I'm saying right now it's not new. You hear everybody online talk about something similar down similar lines, right? And that's because it's true. Some of the hardest part of doing anything is having a journal. And there's even professional athletes in different sports like baseball, football, basketball, and they do the same thing where they have a journal based off of how practice went, based off of how games go, and they watch film. And just like a professional athlete does film study to see how they can improve, it's kind of the same thing with us, right? Where we need to do our own film study per se, and to see if we can improve. What are we doing wrong? Do we have any bad habits? I even go as far as saying that there's some traders who would video themselves while they trade, and they could visually see any indicators of when they're being emotional. And I play poker, right? And shout out to Rips, because I know he's a big poker player. And when you're sitting at the poker table, there's a lot of little nuances that people do that they don't know that they're doing. It's like a tell that they might not know they're doing it, but you pick up on it. And if you video yourself trading, and this is kind of out there, guys, but if you video yourself trading and you notice that you start doing little tiny things when you start to lose money, you might be able to pick up on that, and you might be able to tell, and you might be able to just say, turn it down, or, shut my computer off or stop trading or do something like that. And for example, let's say for this trade, right? Let's say I'm in a trade, and one thing that I've noticed myself doing is I will get super focused on one area of the chart. So for example, I'd be staring at, say, the exact candle, or I'd stare at maybe a bid and ask, or I'll stare at one point on the chart while I'm in the middle of the trade. Then I start to know, like, okay, am I feeling emotional? Am I starting to hope that this trade goes in my direction? And little things like that. And sometimes I've noticed that on YouTubers, and I've noticed that on streamers, and even a couple people on TopstepTV. That one day I'm going to mention that where they're sitting, you see, I'm kind of like slouched down, right? Maybe I'm slouched down in my chair talking to you guys while I'm streaming and trading. And then as soon as I get into a trade, I kind of like sit upright, and then maybe I go like this, and I sit upright, and then maybe I start losing money, and I start looking this way, and I start like moving a lot or fidgeting. And there's all these little tiny things that you notice yourself, and that goes hand in hand with psychology. Rips, recording yourself trading is one of the fastest techniques to improve your trading. Reviewing the game field is, 100%, because how do you know what you do? Sometimes you tap your foot. That's one thing I used to do, and I still do it, is I'll tap my foot, and then I notice my computer monitors on my desk shaking a little bit, and I notice that I'm like, okay, I'm tapping my foot. I'm getting a little bit nervous. Something's going on here, and that's still me. I still notice I do those things. I notice that in when I'm playing poker as well, where I'm tapping my foot, and then I also notice other poker players start, hey, this guy's tapping with his foot. What's going on? And those little tiny nuances, because trading is just as much psychological as it is risk management. And my mouth is getting dry really fast. Yeah, this trade's boring. Slow markets. It happened really fast. It sure as heck got me into this trade fast. Breathing exercises. Yeah, that's a good one. I've even heard of traders do like a heart rate monitor. A heart rate monitor would be interesting. I've never tried it, but I've thought about doing it. To see if my heart rate spikes when I'm on TopstepTV, and then when I get into a trade, and I don't know, that would be interesting. And then broadcast it to you guys like a TopstepTV heart rate monitor, and then you could see our pictures with the heart rates next to each of it. That would be one heck of a thing. Maybe we could do that for the Top Step Trading League. Everybody has a heart rate monitor on it. All right. I'm writing down notes. This is what I'm sending to MP tomorrow. I'm definitely suggesting that. That would be something else. Everyone gets a heart rate monitor on TopstepTV. During TopstepTV Trading League, we put a heart rate monitor. That would be good. I'm for that one. Yeah, there's an example of practicing patience. Now immediately as I'm talking and as I'm thinking things through, I'm going to walk this through as I'm going through this trade. Anyway, the first thing I see is we might have made a new pivot, right? So I'm looking at this as I'm trading. This could be a possibility of a new pivot. And I'm sure you could see it a lot better on a 1 minute chart. So if we zoom into a 1 minute chart, and sure enough, as we zoom in time frames, look at this. This could be an example as support, right? This was support right here. This support now is becoming resistance. So that could be a good example of a technical analysis of maybe a breadcrumb, a clue that, okay, you know what, maybe we're getting a little bit more bearish. We just had support become resistance. We're heading back towards these lows, now turning into a positive. And if I wanted to, now this is a possibility and it's something I'm thinking through as this trade develops, is that could very well be a decent spot for me to put a stop loss. So if I wanted to tighten my risk and move my stop loss, that would be a decent spot. So let's see. I'm not 100% convinced. If we do break down right here, which looks like we might be doing, then I would be okay for moving that as my stop loss. I would love to see something like this, right? Maybe we do something similar to where we just do that, right? Maybe we see that, okay, well, we break down and then we have all this major support that we've been at, right? This is all support. I would love to see this support break down and then become resistance. And then that would make me a lot more confident. But until now, I think I'm okay having my stop loss up here. I might peel off one contract if we push back up again. If we push back up and break that, then I can consider managing my risk. So I'm thinking about risk first, managing risk while I'm in the trade. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself, and I don't want to turn a trade and then make emotional decisions and then turn this trade into a losing trade and then it turn around and sell off anyway. Like, could you imagine if I move my stop loss here and then the market comes up, goes there, and then it sinks, and then I just turned a good trade into a loser based off my emotional decisions. However, there is a valid point to where I say, if this market breaks down and holds down, then I'm okay with managing my risk and trailing. So that's my thought process right now. Let's see how this works out. And we have 5 more minutes left to class, guys, but I am okay with extending it. I'm okay with extending class because I think this is a very important thing, and I'm not going to end class without watching this trade play out. So let's see. We're starting to let's see if we could get a good breakdown. Now remember, look what I'm doing my trade on. My trade's on my phone. This is my coach's account, but my trade is actually on my phone. So, I bear with me managing my trade on my phone. This is my coach's account that you see right here. Let's see if, come on, market, just sell off. So I only have 6 contracts left on my phone. I was in 9. My coach's account is just a demo account that I could, place dummy trades on and play. So, okay, here we go. I just got out of some of my position now. And what I'm doing is I'm buying the bid. So I buy the bid. When we push down, I buy the bid. So we just had that breakdown. And now let's see. So I'm down to 3 contracts on my live account. So I was in 9. And now I'm in 3. So there's a good example. So that is on a small level. So we see how we broke down right there. And we just tried to push up a little bit and then immediately rejected and started to sell off. So let's see if we could have continuation to the downside. So we tried, and that possibly could. We don't know 100%. Oh, come on. I'm screwing this up on the chart. So there is a chance that we tried to push up, and guess what? Support. This was support, and now it's becoming resistance. So let's see if we could get another move lower. We're supposed to be ending now, but this is more important than closing the stream. Okay, I just got out of another one. And now I want to practice okay, so first targets were hit, right? That was the first target I had. So first target's hit as we were looking at, and let's see. So this was the first target. Remember where I said this was resistance that had support, and I wanted to peel some off. So I'm okay with, let's buy at bid. Let's get out of 2. So this is what I did in my live account, but just times it by 3. I want to move my stop loss down a little bit, make sure I'm managing my trade, right? So now I am confident that we got that clear break, and I'm moving my stop loss right there. Okay, and now I'm down. I just have 2 contracts left on my phone, and it's up, what, $800. So that's where I'm at now, and I'm going to let 1 contract run for the rest of the night, guys. So that's it. $4,600 locked in on my live account. There we go. And I have 1 contract running, so that's that. There we go. $4,500 to start start the night on my live account. That feels good after a losing day. Let's see if we could just push. Oh, man. There you go. That's the stream. Sorry. I actually, no, I'm not. That was good. That was a beautiful example of a trade, holding on to it, following the rules, and I'm glad that happened in front of you guys. So I'm going to be starting fast markets with me and Rips tomorrow morning on Topstep TV with $4,500 in the bank, and maybe even more if this thing keeps selling off. So there we go, guys. Take care, and I will see you tomorrow morning, bright and early. Bye.